Doctor Who has several iconic recurring villains, but Season 15, Episode 3, The Well, is the first time in a long time that the show has introduced something that can be an ongoing threat to the Doctor. After debuting in 2007's Blink, the Weeping Angels have come back several times, and their lore has expanded, along with their connection to the various versions of the Doctor who have appeared during the last 18 years. Lux has already declared Blink the best Doctor Who episode ever, and Well honors that legacy by giving the Angels a shot at a much-needed rest. Although it initially seems as though it's going to be a standalone adventure, The Well eventually reveals itself as a sequel to an episode from David Tennant's era as the 10th Doctor. The entity that almost caused Ten's death in 2008's Midnight is back in The Well, but it's far more powerful than the last time it crossed paths with the Time Lord. The end of Midnight implies the unseen monster is dealt with, and The Well follows in similarly deceptive footsteps. However, a last-minute twist promises that the Midnight monster isn't done yet. With the Midnight monster's survival, Doctor Who finally has a great, new recurring villain. 15 unknowingly fails to contain the creature in The Well. The monster spends the majority of The Well attached to Alice Fenley, Rose Ayling-Ellis, then jumps to Belinda Chandra, Varoda Setu, toward the end. Then, Coilfian Dunce Shea Costalians makes the selfless sacrifice of attacking Belinda so that the monster will jump to her instead. Shea's throwing herself down the well in an attempt to return the monster to the planet's depths is commendable, but sadly turns out to be in vain. The Well ends with the twist that, if the monster ever attached itself to Shea, it was only briefly, and soon jumped ship to another squad member. Worryingly, the Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, had already departed by the time of this revelation, so there was no one left with the experience to lead the charge in the fight against such a challenging adversary. So, it would seem the monster will continue to wreak havoc among any group it can find on its journey through the universe. It wanted to escape the surface of the planet, and it has finally managed to do so. Now, it can cross paths with the Doctor again in the show's near or distant future, making it a very compelling recurring villain that as well as the various iterations of the Master, Doctor Who has long tended to rotate between three groups of villains. The Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Weeping Angels are all very high on the list when it comes to Doctor Who's recurring bad guys. Although this can get tiresome because of how often they return, there's a good reason they're used so frequently. In short, they all boast the same blend of scariness and power. So, they're all worthy adversaries of the Doctor, whereas most villains tend to be dispensed with in a single episode. The Midnight Monster has already proven itself capable of eluding the Doctor twice. So, it has all the hallmarks of a bad guy who could, and likely would, be a recurring problem for the show's main character. The Doctor failed to contain the villain as 10 and did so again as 15. So, it stands to reason that the monster would know how to escape a third time, and could easily be one of the Doctor's biggest challenges since the show began. With the enigmatic being once believed to be contained within just one episode, this is an exciting reveal. The nature of Doctor Who means the possibilities when it comes to villains are essentially infinite. Bad guys come and go all the time, and it makes sense that the Doctor often handles most of them with relative ease. However, recurring villains offer something else entirely and are perfect for use in landmark stories and season finales. Unfortunately, villains like this are incredibly difficult to write, and are often best when they come about organically rather than creating them with the intention of being ongoing adversaries. As such, the Weeping Angels are still the most recent addition to this category. Because of the show's recurring villain problem, Doctor Who has had to massively overuse the Daleks, Cybermen, and Weeping Angels. During that time, the show has either underutilized bad guys who could have realistically returned or written one-off antagonists out of the show for good. Hopefully, the plan is for the monster from The Well to become Doctor Who's next big recurring threat, or else it would make no sense to bring it back so long after Midnight and allow it to survive on both occasions.